Hello, today we're taking a look at Kingdom Under Fire 2, a medieval MMORPG RTS hybrid set in a fantasy world. And if you've watched my channel before, you know anything medieval is my cup of tea. This video is kindly sponsored by Kingdom Under Fire 2. If you want to play Kingdom Under Fire 2 yourself, there is a link in the description where you can create an account and purchase the game. You can choose between 3 different tier packages ranging from $29.99 US dollars, $49.99 US dollars, and $99.99 US dollars. Now it is time to choose our class. I've already been playing the game with a ranger, so we won't be playing as a ranger right now, but I gotta say that the ranger is really very fun because it has a hybrid way of fighting in combat. Basically, the ranger has 2 different weapon types. So you have these dual wielding daggers that you can quite clearly see that she's wielding right now, and of course she has a bow, and you can use that to attack from range. Very, very damaging for single target attacks. Not so good in terms of AoE, but she still has some AoEs. Otherwise, we have the gunslinger here. Haven't seen too much of the gunslinger, but you can tell that he has dual pistols on his belt right here and a one-handed sword. Then you have the spell sword, which is capable of using spells and fighting at the same time. I've seen a couple of people playing this and running around in the game world, because of course this is an MMORPG, and otherwise we have the Elementalist, which is your kind of standard wizard kind of class. Haven't really seen too many of these, so maybe that's an idea. But for this particular video, I'm going to be playing as a berserker, because let's face it, a berserker is going to be very fun, and we're going to be wielding a massive 2-handed greatsword, and we're going to have a whole bunch of times where we can just wade through hordes of enemies and have a grand old time. Otherwise, there are some very extensive character creation options here. You can change your face however you want. You can change your decoration on your face, whatever that may be. So you can see here, you can just change it. It's basically like a tattoo or something like that. And look at this. We can even have bright colored ones. Look at that. Wow, that's pretty cool. Gotta say that. And then we can even have scars as well. And you can even change the color of all of the things. So you can change your skin tone. You can change the overall color of the skin tone and the lip color and the eye color and all that stuff. Look at that. We can even go for pink eyes if we want. Pink eye? No, we probably don't want to do that. Let's go for orange or green. Why not? Let's do green or something like that. And otherwise, you can also change everything about your face however you want it to be. So I'll just randomize a little bit so you can see what differences there are. And of course, you have hair. And in the case of the berserker, hair is really just his horns. So you're going to be seeing a whole bunch of different horn types right here. And I think I'll go for these. Why not? It's a little bit less overt and a little bit understated. I think that's pretty good. And his name is going to be Mr. Bertild, of course. Let's create. So, welcome to the game world. We have loaded in. This is the first thing you will see after creating your character. And as you can see, we have a couple of NPCs here. I'm just going to be skipping through most of the conversations because if you decide to play it, then you're going to be able to experience that firsthand for yourself. And I kind of want to get to the combat because I very much like the combat in this game. It is very enjoyable indeed because it is dynamic, a hugely dynamic combat system. You have a main basic attack with left mouse button. You have a special attack with right mouse button. And then you have block, dodge. Block is shift, dodge is space. And then you have a wide variety of different abilities that you can use with your number keys. So there's a huge amount of different things you can do. It's highly adaptable as well. And dependent on the class you choose, each one has a significantly different way of fighting. As I mentioned previously, the ranger has a very hybrid style. You're going to be using your daggers for close quarters combat, but if you want to, you can also pull back and you can use your bow to deal significant damage from afar. So that's pretty cool in itself. Otherwise, we have a recovery potion right here. This is where you put all of your consumables on your bar over to the right here, and you can even add some slots if you want to. But what we have down here is our main skills. So you can see these skills right here have a very, very short cooldown in comparison to the ranger. The ranger skills generally tend to be a little bit longer cooldown, 15 seconds, somewhere around there. And that is generally because one of them is a ranged attack. So ranged is generally going to have a bit of a higher penalty in regards of cooldown. But otherwise, let's speak to Thompson right here. This is our first, well, first real quest, I guess you could say, and I've been given a new sword. So let's equip it. Let's equip it and do massive damage. Oh yes. Now, every single class, as I've also said, has a unique ability or trait of some kind, and the Berserker's is called Rampage. Now, you can see this little meter right here. This is our demonic energy, or dark energy is what they call it here. And basically what that does is when you use this Rampage ability, you use 20 of the dark energy, and it will then give you a significant damage bonus, and it will also give you attack speed if you use Rampage twice in a row and you already have it on you. So it's kind of like a double buff in that case. So you can see I'm going to use it here, and I use it again, and then we can do massive damage right here. And just the attack speed is so incredible to gain from it. And that's the thing. I really like the Berserker. I feel like the Ranger definitely has its strengths, but I'm much more of a person that likes to run around with a big two-handed sword. And I mean, that's how I am. You know, that's how I am with other games as well. So this definitely is my kind of thing. But, of course, there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do. You know, you can play as the Elementalist if you want to be a magic user. And that was actually something I was definitely deciding between. I was very much thinking to myself, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind playing as the Elementalist. But, well, eventually the Berserker won out, and here we are. So, yes, anyway, otherwise, this is, as I mentioned in the introduction, a hybrid of genres. So you are generally going to be playing with your hero like this. You're going to be playing in a third-person action RPG kind of setup. However, later down the line in big events and dungeons, which you can actually participate with other people, by the way, and I believe that is 4 members for a dungeon later on in the game, and when you're playing in extreme dungeons, you can even have 8 players in a dungeon at one time. And every single player has a number of troops that they will be able to command in real-time strategy mode. And you'll see exactly what I mean about that a little bit later on. Let's go and kill some kobolds here. Look at that. Oh, that thing just died. That thing just died so quickly. Yeah, so some of these abilities are really powerful, especially against things like this. Of course, the Berserker is going to have a chance to miss quite often because he does have a rather large sword, and the Ranger, on the other hand, is going to be a little bit less prone to misses because she attacks so fast. She's attacking so fast with her daggers that it is crazy. But that's the point. You know, they've got to balance it somehow, and balancing it by making the Berserker attack slightly slower, obviously, is definitely a good way to go, because otherwise the Ranger is going to be just so powerful. But anyway, as I've said, I haven't really played too many of the other characters just yet, but I really want to. I actually really want to. I want to get into the other characters as well. Oh yeah, by the way, the MMORPG the MMORPG portion of the game is prevalent throughout, of course, but the main thing that you have to take into account here is the questing system. The questing system is not frustrating. Alright, so as we can see here, we have Thompson, and apparently the village has been attacked by some Enkablosians. Enkablosians is a faction of evildoers that is one of 3 factions that are vying for control of the fantasy world that we are currently in. Anyway, as I was saying, the questing system is not frustrating. Like, for example, in a lot of other MMORPGs, you're going to have a quest initially where you're like, okay, so I have to collect 10 wolf pelts or something like that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, I can collect those 10 wolf pelts. But the thing is that those wolf pelts take so long to drop, or, you know, you have to kill 10 of them, you know what I mean? Whereas in this game, everything is very quick. You're going to be done relatively fast with every single quest that you're doing, with the exception of, obviously, the big boss battles. And did I mention that there are big boss battles? Yes, there are big boss battles, and you can use your troops in RTS mode to give you an advantage over those bosses. Of course, you have to use them strategically, otherwise it's just not really going to go that well. But anyway, we're going to try our very best to eliminate as many of these enemies as we can and save the village. I'm going to try and use my special attack a little bit more. And by the way, there are finishing moves as well, and those finishing moves can be used against downed enemies. So when you have an enemy that's on the ground, you can use E like that. Boom. Oh, I missed. Oh, of course. Just when I wanted to show. Anyway, the point is that you can use E to do the execution move, and then you will do a pretty significant amount of damage and probably kill the enemy in question. And you can do the same kind of thing with bosses as well, because bosses have a different bar, so to speak. Because, you know, every single enemy has a health bar, of course, but bosses have a kind of resolute bar, or it's like a yellow bar underneath the red one. And basically what that does is if you use skills against the boss, you will be able to reduce that bar, and as soon as it gets to 0, you will then be able to stun or make the boss enemy become groggy. And when it becomes groggy, then you will be able to perform an execution. So that's basically how you defeat bosses a little bit quicker, and if you're not able to do it, then, well, you can just try again, I suppose, at some point. But yeah, anyway, we're going to try and do some damage here, and the primitive leader is quite powerful, but I think we should be okay. Look at that damage. Oh, finishing attack, yes. Okay, so yeah, did you see that? That third ability that we've just gained? Basically, it's a big pull ability. So you can pull your enemies toward you and then do a massive amount of damage if you can follow it up. And by following it up, I mean you can use left mouse button to perform additional combos, which I gotta say is exactly the reason why I say that this is a highly dynamic combat system. All right, I think me and Thompson are doing pretty well so far. I think we're doing pretty nicely, and there we go. I've got 59 kills, not too bad. It does take, you know, just track the amount of kills that you're able to get, which is pretty cool, especially in really big horde type situations, like this one. Unfortunately, we are not going to get to fight all of these because we're now going to get saved by a very cool character. Alright, so after being saved by Glenn, who is this guy over here, who is, by the way, I believe a gunslinger, so if you want to play as a gunslinger then and do that really cool stuff, then, well, you can, you know, it's available. Anyway, we have now arrived in this new town, and this town is kind of like the starter village, and you're going to have access to a mailbox, and you got some storage here as far as I'm aware, as well as a couple of other merchants too. And you're going to be able to do a couple of starter quests, which I will be doing right now. They're very easy. Just, you know, speak to a couple of people and clean up the village a little bit. As you can see, remove some building debris. And I think I'll see you in a little bit when we might, maybe, just maybe, be in the RTS portion of the game, which is actually very enjoyable too. Now there is actually something else that I forgot to mention about the questing system. Now, the questing system, apart from being very easy to progress through, they add something else that really makes a huge difference to how easy it actually is and how simple it is to go from point A to point B. And they're not going to be like, okay, so NPC 1 is going to give you this quest, and then you're going to basically be like, okay, so I'm going to need to complete this quest and then head back to NPC 1, right? That's how it would usually go in an MMORPG. But no, not in this game, not in this game. So basically what is going to happen is the NPC 1 is going to give you the quest, and then you're going to complete it, and then there's going to be another NPC that just so happens to be along your way. As you can see right here, I just completed that quest, and then this guy appeared, and now I can hand in both quests, and then what I can do is use the quick travel system, which is using gold, and you can basically just get anywhere you want through that. Of course, you are going to need to unlock the crystal ahead of time, so you will need to explore before that, but easy, you know, it's really, really nice and easy. And if you're worried about not having a mount or anything like that, well, don't worry, because there's going to be one coming up relatively soon. And here it is. This is our first mount, and there are a wide variety of different mounts that you will be able to ride in this game. So let's say you gain one. Well, what we're going to do is we're obviously going to equip some other gear that I actually just got from some quests. But otherwise, what are you going to do? You're going to go into your inventory right here, and then you're going to learn the mount. And that's exactly what we've done. There we go, and now we can ride it. Now this is a mount that I actually gained from one of the packs that you can buy through the link in the description. And the other mount that you can get is this one, as far as I'm aware. This is the one that you start with as a base, but you can get this one, which is an aqua stallion or a blue unicorn, among other things. So if you want to, you can, you know, go for one of those other things. And it is a little bit quicker, so it is going to be a bit easier for us. As you can also see, once the main quest is accepted, some NPCs might give you new quests, and as you can see, there's a load of them. There's so many different quests. But as I've also said, the quest system is very adaptive in the way that it does things, so you never really have to worry about being far away from a particular quest NPC and where you need to go for it. So for example, I need to kill a couple of wolves here. I need to get their teeth, but I also need to reinstall some wolf traps. Now here's the thing, look at this. There's actually a band of 3 wolves all standing right here, and I can do some damage to them very easily indeed. Take out one of them, take out the next one as well, and then we can loot their chests very easily. And now you may be thinking, okay, so you have to go back to that farm, right? No, no, no. We're not going back to that farm. We are going to be going over here towards that icon. Do you see that icon on the minimap right here? I'm going to move my mouse over there. You see that icon right there? That is the NPC that you are going to need to speak to complete this quest. And that's exactly the reason why I think this game really knows how to do the questing system super well, because I don't want to run all the way back to the same guy that I spoke to just now. I want to go over here and hand him my quest. Boom. Immediately. And after speaking to him, then there's the other guy, Glenn, you know, the guy that saved us before in that village. And now he has said to us, okay, I'll meet you on up ahead, you know, so I'm going to get on my newly acquired mount, and we're going to go over here to speak to Glenn. And now this is the RTS portion of things. We're going to be entering the Tower of Moonlight. And so you can see over there, do you see that red portal? That is going to be our entry into our first dungeon. And that's going to be very fun. All right, so let's have a look here. Glenn, hello. Help me out, friend. There we go. He's given me that. So now, what we can do is we can learn the dark brown wild horse, as you can see right there. We are now mount expert, apparently. But otherwise, is there anything else I want to get here? Not particularly. There are a lot of items here that, you know, you can get from some of the supporter packs as well. But otherwise, let's go in. Alright, so this is basically your initial dungeon screen, and you can see that if you're in a party, you can chat with your friends or with your guildmates or whoever it may be, and then you can also organize your troops. I actually have a couple of mercenaries here, but I'm actually wondering whether I should take them or not, because this is technically a basic tutorial, and you're not usually given any troops initially, but you are given troops just for the sake of the tutorial. So we're just going to go with none for the moment, and you can see exactly what our AP cost is and the search of, you know, what our objective is and so on and so forth, and the difficulty is normal. So let's go. Alright, so here we go. Now they're going to teach us about strategy mode. So strategy mode is this. So you will be able to go into strategy mode and you can move around your camera however you want. You can select people however you want. They're just teaching me how to move around and everything right now. And that's absolutely fine because everyone's going to need to learn at some point. I already know how to do this though because, as I've said, I do have another character. Okay. So yeah, we can move around the camera with WASD, you can zoom in and out and everything, and you have F keys. You use F keys to basically command most of your troops, and usually you're going to be having 3 groups of troops, plus F4 will select all of them at once. So here you go, hero support makes your troops follow your hero. So in other words, if you press C on the keyboard, boom, then your troops will follow your hero in battle and they will help your hero however you want. So otherwise, let's move. Look at this. Oh yeah, yeah, and it's so seamless as well. And if I want to, by the way, I can go right back into action RPG mode anytime I want. Anytime. Anytime. And then you can just go boom, 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 slash, 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 or magic at all the enemies. And then you can go back into strategy mode. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do here if you are so inclined. I'm not so good at switching very quickly, so that's probably going to be for those of you that are a little bit more proficient than I am. But let's have a look.
They look like they were built centuries ago. Think they were built by Moonlight as well?
Now, Moonlight in the story is a grand wizard, and we are now being attacked by Encolosians. So, as you can see, in strategy mode, your hero enters basic attack mode. To control your hero, you must change to action mode, which is tab. And so there we go. Now we're back into action mode, and we can do whatever we want. So there's a finishing move right there. We can get a whole bunch of different other things going on as well. But I think I'm just going to go for some big sweeping attacks. Okay, so now we have our hero support commands. Basically what this does is we can now tell our guys to change to attacking the primitive leader. If you aim at them and press C, then they will attack the exact same thing that you're attacking. Oh, that damage. Oh yes, that damage. Now, I don't know about you, but I absolutely love this kind of gameplay because it basically means that you get to have the strategy of telling your units where to go, what to do, and so on and so forth. And of course, this is just a tutorial, so you're not going to get to see the full extent of how much strategy you can actually do. But basically, every single, you see these, I'm going to actually use my mouse right now, so you can see these little slots right here. Each one of these can be filled with an ability, and just think about this. You have 3 different types of troops, so you have infantry, archers, and probably siege mechanics or siege equipment of some kind, and each of those will have 4 abilities as you progress through the game. Initially, they're obviously just going to have 1, but as you progress, they're going to gain more and more abilities, more and more complexity to the game, and you're going to be able to utilize those in strategy mode. Alright, so now what we have to do is follow Glenn. I'm going to, as I say, skip through a little bit of the story because I don't want to spoil it for those of you that do decide to pick it up, and it would be cool for you to experience that for yourself. Anyway, the point is that this really does have, look at that. I mean, I can't go into strategy mode right now. Oh, that's a shame. I was just like, yes, I want to show the seamless transition. It's just extremely seamless.
Probably happened after he accepted Jade as a student. Wait, I see some burned traces over there.
Wingworm!
Oh, here we go. Here we go. We have a winged worm. So this is going to be a true test of our new defensive strategy. So boom, boom, boom. Let's get some defensive commands going on here. They're all going to raise their very small bucklers. Hopefully we're not going to hopefully we're not going to get singed by the fire breath.
Archers, shoot down the winged worm. Commander, select the archer troop you want to command.
Oh yeah, here we go. So now what we are going to unlock are some archer troops, and we will be able to go into archer troop mode, as you can see right here, and then we can tell them to focus on one of these targets, and then they will actually start firing at it. Of course, this is very much a basic tutorial about the whole, you know, attacking thing, but I feel like this does a really great job in showing the tactical mode in its best form right here. And you can also use special abilities, yes. So we will use a special ability to absolutely murder the next thing. Look at how much damage we're dealing. It is just crazy. And now there's only one left, and we should be able to do it without any problem whatsoever. And the cooldown of this ability is only 20 seconds. It improves your attack and attack speed. Really very good. By the way, every single one of your troops can also level up, can also gain experience and level up, so do bear that in mind. They can also die, so yeah, that's a bit worrying, especially for me. But you can use your strategy mode to get them out of the way. You know, you can tell them to run away, or, you know, take cover, or, you know, things like that.
We're facing enemies with no will to lose. That explains how they brought down Azilia Castle so quickly.
Right. And that's why we must get a hold of the Luna Wing at all costs.
Yes, the Luna Wing, Glenn. So, yeah, I don't know whether you can see, but there's a ship in the distance just over there to the right. That is called the Luna Wing, and the Luna Wing is this massive vessel that flies through the sky that has absolutely insane artillery. And you are going to be able to use that later on in the game to, well, full effect. Here we go. We're going to be attacked by an absolutely insane army right now. And here we go. Z is the offensive strategy. So that means that basically your troops are going to be attacking anything that is around them. So we're going to do that. All troops are going to be attacking everything that they see. And we will try to wade in there ourselves. Let's do this. Look at how many enemies are on screen at once. It is just insane. And do bear in mind that we also have a scorpion. Yes, this is one of the big boss enemies, which is going to be very difficult for us to deal with, but hopefully we won't need to deal with it ourselves, and we will actually get a little bit of assistance from someone.
We must protect this tower at all costs, or we'll get killed along with the refugees here.
That scorpion is making things worse for us!
Archers!
Alright, so we're gonna have to target the scorpion, I suppose. There we go. Let's go back into action mode.
Just hang on for a little longer! You rookies, you're in big trouble. Cannons, fire! Fire at them!
And there it is, an absolutely destroyed battlefield thanks to the crazy dwarf engineer. Yes, I mean, that happens more often than you'd think, right? Anyway, there is our first ever dungeon completed, and we gained an S rank as well. I mean, I think you're probably going to get an S rank every single time you do this, but anyway. Now I can choose some loot between 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to choose 4. And I got some boots. Oh, not too bad. And another really, really cool quality of life effect that they have in the game is that any loot that you missed in the entirety of the dungeon, you can actually loot right now, and then you can just get it all and take it into your inventory. Really quite amazing. I like that a lot, because I know that in other games you're going to be, you know, participating in dungeons, and you may very well miss some loot if everything's moving really, really fast. But no, not in this game. They're going to make sure that you pick up everything that you can. Otherwise, let's see where we end up. Alright, so it looks like we have now arrived in our little encampment here, and this is the encampment that we helped to basically establish, and there is the lunar wing right over there. I don't know whether you can see it, but it's kind of a little bit hidden by those trees there. Otherwise, that will be the end of this episode. Again, if you would like to check out the game, there is a link in the description. Otherwise, well, stick around, because I'm going to make another video on this. I'm actually having a lot of fun. I thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.